Now, the leader of the Movement of Democratic Forces of Kasama, Salif Sadio, has clarified the clash between his forces and the economic forces. Now, the Mfdc separatist leader said, contrary to reports, his men were not attacked by Senegalese forces, rather the economic contingent in the Gambia. Mr. Sadio also denounced claims that the economic soldiers were after a timber dealer who ran into the group's territory. Let's take a listen to him in this excerpt.
Moto nintara babar bayndilalo folo woning mortarol tetala ada te kala mortar kilintin ninge nyini ka nyinna wo babaro de bayna mbiri muntole muntuma wo keta pour kana kan attack adu wonten toñati ntol nga minu muta kelelano ni rek kidol.
If they were running after timber dealers, they will not go with such sophisticated weapons. Automatic weapons, I mean. Those claims are false. The soldiers we detain are fighters with their weapons. Plus, they were the first to attack us. We fought from 9:30 till evening. When we realized that we overcome them, and most of them have run away, that was when I told my men to stop everything, so that children who did not go to school and elders who ran away for refuge could come back and continue their normal activities.
Comment on dit la récolte amande, hein? Il a bien ce qu'ils ont récolté là.
Well, Sadio was speaking there during a press conference today attended by several journalists, including our very own Usman Jata, who joins me now in the studio to break down the latest revelations. Well, Usman, thank you very much for joining me. Salif Sadio, of course, spoke to the media not long ago. What prompted today's press conference?
Thank you very much, Ahmed, for having me on the program. And as we rightly heard from him, one of the reasons that prompted the press conference was to clear the air about the happenings in Fonyi. Not only that, but the last clash which erupted last month on January 24th. And according to Mr. Sadio, he was not attacked by Senegalese soldiers, but rather he was attacked by Ecowas forces. Despite the fact that the Senegalese forces were part of the economic forces. But for him, he was not attacked by the Senegalese forces, but rather he was attacked by the economic forces, whom he says came to his camp. And this was worrying to him. He expressed worry about it because he said since the fight began in Casamas in 1982-40, which is now 4 decades, he has not seen anything like that. Somebody coming into his camp, attacking him. And this is something he's very concerned about. And also coming to the fact that, like, trying to clarify the fact that he was not attacked by Senegalese soldiers. He said that in 2012, when he fought with the Senegalese soldiers and kept some of their men, that was when they negotiations and he released them. That was when he decided not to fight with the Senegalese soldiers, because you have to understand that Salif Sadio as well, he is one person who is also going to Rome to meet with the Senegalese government so that they can negotiate a way forward for the issue of Casamas gaining its independence, or making sure that there are ceasefires. And part of that agreement in Rome, that was what even brought the ceasefire. Okay. So basically, this was what motivated today's press conference.
And interesting. Now, when he spoke to the media a few days ago, he sent a stern warning to the Gambian authorities and the Gambian people. Did he touch or talk anything about that in today's press conference?
Absolutely right, Amadou. He reiterated his words, and this he said just to make sure that the Gambia government is aware of the consequences that follows such actions, because he in fact talked about the issue of Guinea-Bissau, for the fact that they were also one-time victims of Senegal, for the fact that they decided to join with the Senegalese government to fight the rebels. He indicated that when these people decided to join the Senegalese government, they were faced with several consequences which cost them lives. So he said he did not want to see similar things happening to the Gambians, for the fact that citing that his relatives are in the Gambia, despite the fact that he did not have a wife or children. He said he has wives and children on the other side, claiming that the ones he is fighting for, the independence in Casamas, they are his children, they are his family. So according to Mr. Sadio, he said he is not a rebel, he is not a separatist, he is a freedom fighter. He is trying to make sure that he fights the right of Senegal, because he in fact talked about history, for the fact that he said when the Portuguese came first, they tried to enslave them, but they couldn't invade them. Likewise, the British, the French, they all came, but they couldn't, and with that they decided to put it in their archives. We wanted to enslave these people, but we couldn't.
All right. Now, where exactly did the press conference take place? Was it in the bush, or they are based, and who was it attendance, and how was the environment like?
Sure, it was in the bush. It was not in Casamas, it was not in the Gambia. One could say it could be fairly in the border belt between Casamas and Senegal. And I could confidently tell you that the press conference was heavily present by the rebel forces of the Mfdc, that is a movement of movements in Casamas, and also a few media personnel, both from the Gambia and in Casamas, that is Zik and other mediums. So, but basically, it was overcome by the rebel forces, and it was a successful one, because the guy had the chance to speak in both French and all other languages to make sure that his information is well communicated and everybody understands that he is not trying to fight the Senegalese government, but rather he was attacked by the economic forces, whom he claimed that he fought with them at least from 9:30 till evening. But the only thing that made him to stop, according to him, was considering the consequences around, because most neighborhoods, most villages, communities around, had to flee for their own safety. And not only that, but children were also impacted for the fact that they did not have the chance to go to schools.
All right. Usman, stay with us, and because it was not only Salif Sadio who of course speaks during that press conference, because the two economic soldiers who were held captive by the separatist movement in Casamance said they were given food and water. Now, the two soldiers, Umar Choi and Franzians Manga, also disclosed they were not maltreated by the MFDC forces. Let's take a listen.
On est là depuis le 24 janvier quoi. Ñu ngi jox lekk ak naan, mais xel mooy lekk quoi.
Ba sonnu leen.
Bon, li moom góor rek lay dal quoi. Mais sant Yàlla quoi, lépp ñu ngi ci loxo Yàlla quoi.
This is our situation. We are detained since January 24th. We are given food and water, but peace of mind is the best thing one can have. We are 7 in number. We are part of the economic mission in the Gambia, and our mission was to protect President Adama Barrow. What I can tell my people is let them have a peace of mind and let them pray for us.
Bon, am nga li mom tay ñu ngi fi tay mission la. Ñun mission la ñu won CEDEAO Gambie. Waaw, tay fi lañu mujjé Casamance. Waaw, mais xamuñ nak ndax dafa bokk lu ñu signé bu ñu ñëw wala. Mais buñ doon ñëw mom c'était maintien de la paix et sécurité qui président Adama Barrow quoi. Bon, dalal seen xel rek wax ñu ñaanal ñu rek ñu bàyyi tamit lépp ci loxo Yàlla quoi. Waaw. Merci beaucoup.
Well, that is one of the captives there speaking to the media. Of course, he's a Senegalese soldier, was part of the economic contingent here in the Gambia, and they were the soldiers that were captured. Usman, you also listened to him. He was trying to explain their condition, how they were treated. Interestingly, according to him, they were not maltreated. Visually, how was their appearance? Do they look threatened or frightened of the situation?
It was a complete picture, Amadou. Looking at them, and in fact, this was one of the things I was very curious to look at, to see whether the claims on social media are true that they were beaten and so. But I have not seen any sign of wounds on their body. You know, everything was fine with them, and they have in fact alluded to it that they are receiving good treatment. They are given food, they are given water, and they are not maltreated. So this is something that is a very very interesting per se, for the fact that most people were expecting that these people, the separatist movement, will be torturing them. And in fact, when you look on the Senegalese newspapers, what they are saying is that, like, they are giving the contrary, you know, what the things they are publishing and what the separatist movement is doing to these soldiers is quite different. And as far as we understand, with regards to what the leader says, he said these people were not in fact running after a timber dealers. They were soldiers who came with their weapons. It was well planned because they came with automatic weapons, sophisticated weapons, and these weapons, he said he will not disclose it, but he said they are very sophisticated weapons, and if they want to be released, he has opened the door for dialogue.
This is Salif Sadio speaking.
Yes, I will tell you, to be candid enough, this is a man who is friendly, who is jovial. When he first came, he was in fact saluting his men on the ground, you know, which was very interesting. He was like, bonjour, welcome, you know. So it was a different picture, but for the fact that most people were expecting something from him, but he is a very friendly man, and he is very conscious about what he does.
All right, that's the reading of him when you met him today. But now, maybe the most fundamental question here is about the release of these soldiers. Did he talk about, you know, whether negotiations have started for their release, or how soon are they going to get back to their country?
For sure. He did not mention the time frame of the negotiation, whether they are going to be, the negotiation has started. But he said he has opened that room for negotiation, citing that when he can release their dead bodies, what about the ones that are in fact alive? He did not only stop that. He said when he took Senegalese soldiers, that was when he held them in captive. At some point, you know, he released them. So what about, why not these people? So what he's saying, he's inviting the Ecowas as stakeholders, let them come for a negotiation.
Any condition attached?
Yes, conditions are of course attached, but these are conditions he never disclosed. I tried asking him, but he was not open to that. He said what he knows is he is open to discussions, let them come, let them look a way forward so that they can take these people. And in fact, he also highlighted on the issue of the timber, because this is one area that is very curious as well, for the fact that the soldiers are in Buyam and they are stopping trucks that are coming in. He said that what the Senegalese soldiers are trying to do, or what the economic soldiers are doing, is to make sure that they spoil the name, tarnish the name of Casamas, because they know that all their goods are coming from Casamas. So they want to leave Casamas with nothing. So, but he says they are not behind any timber selling to make sure that they can sustain themselves. They have been into this.
All right, fantastic. On a final note, as a journalist, you work in that bush. How was the experience like?
It was one of the best experiences I've ever had, for the fact that at first I was kind of scared. I was skeptical of going into a rebel zone. Imagine what anything can happen to me. I could be detained, I could be tortured. But when I went, I was surprised with the humor of the rebels and the rebel leader himself. It was a different picture how the captives were treated. They were not hit. You know, everything was simple and they were cordial, and that shows how professional they are. And I think this is something most people should learn from, because according to Salif Sadio, he said he is not a separatist person, but he is a freedom fighter. He is fighting for the freedom of his people.
All right. Thank you very much, Usman. We got to leave it at that, and we are so much glad that we have you back with the entire crew that traveled all the way into Senegalese bush to attend Salif Sadio's press conference. We'll